This week we figure out how to sell 2 million copies of a game, but not with Kickstarter. That's apparently too damn stressful. Our writing may have us ending up in prison, so we'll cool down by walking down Allison Road to hop a hot air balloon and take an 80-day vacation. This and more on this episode of Indie Game Riot. Indie Game Riot! Hey everybody, this is Josh, and we are on episode 67 of the Indie Game Riot Podcast. And I have here with me Reverend and Tekano, the non-award winning filmmaker.
Yeah. No, my film this year didn't do very good, but that's okay. I had a lot of fun doing it.
Would you like to explain to us what your week is like since you did that? Well, we'll lead into that.
Okay.
Look at that smooth transition.
God, that was a decent segue.
Yeah.
Who am I, and what have I done with myself?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
When did this show become professional? So what? Am I telling?
Yeah,
my
it's
story?
you.
Yes.
You just transitioned to you.
Okay. I was like, okay, hold on. There's something changing. No. So the last week on Thursday, I was given the criteria for our film, and the theme, which is okay. The film fest is in its 10th year, so this was its 10th anniversary. So the criteria was binary opposites, 1, 0.
Okay.
And so each team was given binary opposites.
That is such a nerdy theme.
It was weird. And we got it gets better. And we got hero coward.
Okay.
Which we had to rack our minds around. So that week we wrote.
So it was like the
shot,
coward
edited.
is the hero?
No, we actually made a horror film where the hero who thinks he's a hero is actually a coward. And let me tell you, it is very okay. Having seen a few films that I absolutely know are worse than ours today, I can say that it is very okay. I wouldn't say that it is bad, but I had a lot of fun making it.
I was in a college movie once,
Mm-hmm.
and it was terrible.
Oh,
it
no,
wasn't because of me.
It isn't okay. This film
Don't look at me like that, Rev. It wasn't because of me. It was just all around bad. Anyway,
This one, I didn't hate the writing. Mind you, I wrote it, and I didn't hate the edit, but I edited it.
I didn't hate myself. I mean, it should have just been me, honestly.
Actually, the only no, everything was great. Everybody was great. Everyone did an amazing job. We had a team of 5, which everybody basically pulled double duty because all of us had to be in the film because we had 5 characters.
Mm-hmm.
And we quickly tried to lower that cast count so we can get somebody on a camera. So the first part of the film is us scrambling to kill the first person who dies just so we could get that person to hold the camera more. And
that should have been you could have Tarantino'd the shit and just shot someone in the face in the beginning and then had them not happen again until the end, and then you discover why they just got shot in the face.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense. But it was we had 5 people and we had to shoot everything on Friday because we're losing one of our key actors, which we needed, and no, we could not kill him first because he can't hold a camera for shit. So we had to film everything on Friday, and then Saturday we sort of like putzed around a little bit, didn't really do a whole lot of work. Filmed the rest of what we needed to on Saturday, finished it up on Sunday, realized that we had an 8-minute film, which was 2 minutes longer than we were allowed to do. So I then proceeded to cut 2 minutes of film in this already trying to be slow-paced horror film. All of a sudden it becomes a rushed thing.
I think it's funny that Rev, I can tell the kind of week he's had. Not to skip to him, but it's just noticing that the kind of week he's had, because every time someone says something like just even remotely stupid, he goes.
She's like, had to deal with this shit at work, not here.
It's been a week. It has definitely been a week. So last week, by Friday, I had like my normal 40 hours of time logged. And I've been informed that I might have mentioned this last week's show, but we had that medical software that needed to be patched and updated by the 1st, which was the weekend for an audit, and wasn't going to get it done, but they gave us till Monday because, that's when the audit's going to kick off. So after the show last week, I was up until 8 o'clock in the morning patching this software. And then I slept until like 3 and then started patching again because they were no longer going to be using that software. Was working all night long until probably around 9 o'clock Sunday morning, slept for about 3 hours, got up, and then patched again until 7:30 Monday morning. And I've just been on this constant cycle patching of this. It's still not fucking done. We've been working on this one update, like this one system, for 115 hours since last Tuesday. And it's still not.
How much are they paying you?
And this was supposed to be done. This was supposed to be done how many days ago?
On the Monday.
Like the company, like 115 hours. That's like a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
Being poured into this.
So I've probably got another 30 hours of work to do this weekend. Like I'm last week was 80 hours. Like I was at like 79.5 hours. This week I was at 55 hours Tuesday morning. Or Wednesday morning. I'm currently at 78 hours, and I have another 30 or so, I'm assuming, to do this weekend.
So I figured out your problem. All right. You have to train yourself to be able to do that stuff while you're asleep.
Well, see, that was the thing. It would be easy for this particular software. Unfortunately, like the whole thing was automated. It's literally I open up a program and it's like, come now, why the hell aren't you doing this? Click on the update button and it starts the process. You have to check it every 5 minutes because it could take 10 minutes to apply that patch, or it could, and take 12 hours for one of them.
So you have to constantly just click next?
No, it's not even that. Like, it's just waiting for this thing to process, and then once it's done, it's like, hey, patches have been installed. We still see more patches that need to be done. Go ahead and run it again.
The people that didn't patch their shit for like years.
A year. Yeah.
No.
So 2 days ago, we call the vendor of the software and we're like, hey, what the fuck is going on? We've logged 100 fucking hours on this and it still has patches. And they log in and they're like, oh, well, it looks pretty okay. I mean, you've got like 3 more patches to do. We've run the process 7 times since then. And it's still finding more patches. So we called them up today and they're like, well, yeah, we only show that you guys have like 2 more to go. We're like, what the fuck? So Saturday,
2 more groups of patches.
Yeah. So Saturday, they're actually going to be remoting in, and I get to babysit them while they do the patching and everything. And
Well, at least you don't actually have to do anything except just be there.
Well, I not even be there. I just have to.
Well, you know what I mean.
Just have to watch it remotely.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, nice. Like I would kick off a patch and then just every 5 minutes I'd have to go in and double check. Is it still running? Yeah, it's still running. Okay, that's good.
That's like the monotony that causes like people in call centers to kill themselves.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I used to work in a call center.
Yeah, I know.
So did I. But then like tonight was not bad. Part of why I was late, we had a bunch of prospective clients come over and do the hobnobbing. We had a bunch of wine and cheeses and meats and all of that fun stuff.
Did you scare them away?
No.
Oh,
I do actually have a professional presentation that I can promote. However, I don't
you
like
just ran
doing
through there with your dick out.
I was wearing my Beyond Geek shirt and my work shirt over the top of that, but it was unbuttoned, and I'm wearing my ball cap, so like I've got this guy that's sitting there in this like 5-piece suit that's like, oh, and how are you? I'm like, oh, not too bad. How about yourself? Oh, I'm so-and-so. I'm this, decades-long CPA that's been doing millions of dollars of work this year. And I was like, yeah, cool. I do systems administration. He's like, oh, so you work here? And I was like, yeah. Do you do anything but work here? Yeah, I do a show that I'm currently late to. it was a lot of fun. So
That's great. So
You
Josh,
should have found like potential investors. They could have fronted us some money.
oh yeah,
There you go.
fronted us some money for what? What do
For
we
an
do?
office.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, then you'd have
What
to
else
come up
did I
here.
have for? Oh, I double checked my confirmation. We are. I'm all set for my hotel for Indiecade. So
Cool.
and just arrive and not have to worry about travel.
Awesome.
I'm gonna ask you every week. By the way, the shield has been sitting.
Fuck no.
Oh
'Cause-
God damn it!
Because next month starts.
Yeah.
Please
Yeah.
allow 1 year for shipping outside of the United States.
No. This is just the bad year. I'll have it down.
That's true. You were employed when we had it.
Yeah, I was. It was a bad year for scheduling and getting it done.
I believe it.
Fuck.
I feel like the fact that it's an awesome thing will make up for it.
I hope
That's what
so.
I'm hoping.
Remind me, Josh, on the... Hold on, let me check my calendar. Come now.
You still like program to send texts like after a certain date, or is that like did they stop that in like 2000?
Well, they have like calendars on phones that you can have alert you.
Yeah, but I'm really bad at following that because my calendar is filled with work.
So you just ignore.
Pretty much. Remind me on the 16th.
16th.
To do it. Remind me next week during the show, and then remind me the following morning, and I will get it done that morning.
I can schedule a tweet.
That's cool.
You can schedule
Like 20 of them, so like he gets
I'll
woken
spam
up.
the shit.
It's like ba-ding, 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 ba-ding.
Yeah, I'll spam the shit out of your Twitter. I'm actually gonna make a note right now.
That's the
And my phone
Yeah.
my phone's more alerting on that than anything else
About
is. So.
Shield.
exactly.
All right.
Okay. How about
Look
you?
at that.
How was your week?
Meta?
Yeah, Josh.
My week. Okay. Well, first of all, I want to say happy days to me. That upstairs dickhead is gone. I know.
Awesome.
Fantastic. So there's that. Some apparently, possibly some old dude's gonna go up there next, which is whatever. It's as long as he's not having frat parties and selling drugs, I don't give a crap.
Or skating chairs.
Yeah, fucking bowling in his apartment. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Apparently he like broke a bunch of fucking walls and windows up there. They're like fixing it up fast. So there's still been noise, but I can't complain because they're just doing what they need to do. But anyway, there's that. Today, freaking storm just blew through, and for like 1 minute at the beginning of the storm, winds just went like crazy around here, and downed like 30 plus different things around town, like trees, telephone poles, wires, all that sort of stuff. Freaking lot. My wife, as I told you, got a new job, and I was driving her.
Yeah.
I was driving to go pick her up. There's like a live wire on the side of the road, sparking and smoking, going crazy.
Oh my fucking God.
Stoplights are going out. And I'm like, there's a branch in the middle of the road. I had to go. I was like, Jesus Christ. The wind seriously was like maybe lasted a minute, and then after that was just rain. There was no wind. I don't know what happened. Like, it was like
the storm was just like, I'm gonna fuck you up first, and then
micro hurricane.
yeah.
Yeah. So that was fun, and then. But the really right now, because of her working, like it's a fucking hour commute, all the way.
Worth it?
Well, it's better, much better pay than what I was getting. So there's that. But the gas is insane, and I know I'm talking to like Rev, who's like I commute like 5 hours a day, but but the gas is insane, and even with a better pay, it's still like a lot. Plus, at this point, we're kind of in that transition, so. You know how like when you start a job, you don't get paid for like 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Like she's not going to get paid until like the 23rd or something like that. So that sucks. But basically, we're looking for an apartment now that's closer to that area and
Cool.
stressful.
Cool.
Well, hopefully, I mean, because then
Good luck.
you have to get like $1,400 together. You know what I mean? To pay for a security deposit and rent. And I just shut up, Rev. I know you live in shit.
I was gonna say, you bastard.
You live in Rape Your Wallet, USA.
Yeah.
I had to get $1,400 for my.
Well, you also make
last month's
$1,400 in like 2 days, so shut up.
No, that's a 2-week thing for me. I'm salaried. My take home is
that's right.
After insurance and everything else, I'm bringing home about
the company is fucking
about
you
16.
so. The company is fucking you so hard that you're losing $2,100.
After everything that gets taken out, even if she was getting paid, $1,400 is about how much. $1,400 to $1,500 is about how much we'd be taking home in a month.
Gotcha.
So it's hard to get
right.
That. But good news, bad news. Not really bad news, but just stressful shit.
News.
You know what is talking about news?
Oh yeah.
You know what is news?
I
was doing so good with transitions.
The Indie News Injection.
Are you bored with the same old games?
Yeah.
Why, then give yourself an Indie News Injection.
Thanks, Indie Games.
This week on Indie News Injection, the first thing we're going to talk about is an interesting prep. Our auxiliary man, I'm just going to call him auxiliary man from now on.
Okay.
Had sent to me, and he actually sent to me because this is like a twofer one, twofer, as the hillbillies like to call it, or rednecks or whatever. And I don't know where that came from. A twofer, that's what they call a tooth. Anyway, it's a weird night. So anyway, he sent this to me, and the first interesting thing is that Fifth Cell, which is the same dev company that made Scribblenauts.
Oh yeah.
Not an indie studio until now. They are crowdfunding a new IP, original IP. That is supposed to start. The crowdfunding campaign is supposed to start October 21st, 2015. So very soon. But the other interesting part of it is that it is on a site called fig.co. And from what I'm getting about this, and I'm bringing this up for maybe possible other other development studios, is that it's crowdfunding, and it has like the same thing as Kickstarters, like for rewards and things like that. But they curate who is able to do the campaigns. So Fifth Cell is what they're starting with, unless they've done other things I just don't know about.
No, they've already done.
Okay, well there you go. Yeah. They said their first
over 800,000.
There you go. They did have a first campaign, but Fifth Cell is their next one. So already successful apparently, according to them. I don't know what, because they don't have a whole lot of information as far as like what that was that I could find. But anyway, I just thought it'd be interesting if other developers might, who I get, it seems like this might be for like the bigger, if like Double Fine was like, you know what, I kind of need a cool 1.5 million.
Actually, they wouldn't be able to do that because Tim Schafer's on the advisory board.
Yeah,
of Fig.
You've got, yeah. So the chairman of IndieBox, as well as an organizer for IndieCade, Aaron Isaacon.
Wait, IndieBox is on there.
Yeah, he's the chairman of IndieBox. He's on their advisory board. Tim Schafer is also there. Who else? Fergus Urquhart, the CEO of Obsidian Entertainment.
Interesting.
Alex Rigopoulos is the co-founder. He co-founded Harmonix. That's cool.
Yeah, that's
neat.
And
so they have people who know video games, is basically what we're saying.
And indie video games.
Yeah, and indie video games. So just interesting. I don't think that your chances are going to be that high since it's so curated.
I feel like they run like one
at
a time.
But I mean, it is new though. Maybe they will eventually expand to more campaigns, but it's still going to be heavily curated. Mm-hmm. But you never know your chances, especially if it's a really cool game. They might see it and be like, "Wow, this is pretty awesome. We should do this." For instance, I think our peep show for tonight would do well on this personally, and they are looking for the amount of money that they seem to be getting their clients.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Something to keep an eye on.
I'm interested in it. I'm signing up for their newsletter now. So.
Yeah, something to keep an eye
Another thing to keep an eye on is Steam reviews, because now they're Steam reviews have come to question, specifically for 2 games put out by Aldorelia Games, I guess, and Rose Portal Games, who were offering game codes for positive reviews of their game.
Now let me stop you right there and pose the question before we
Okay.
even get into the rest of this. The overarching, like, I think, issue is
Okay.
this, other than the whole, like, being transparent about it,
Okay.
is giving codes is giving
positive
codes
reviews.
for positive reviews a thing
Yes.
that should be allowed or is
No.
allowed? Or,
No.
Okay.
No, A, it's not allowed, and B, it shouldn't be allowed.
It's
Should
not allowed on. Well, Valve seems to be saying that they are allowing it as long as you say that it is that you've
No.
been giving this for.
No, they're actually
No, they
saying this
removed
is-
every single review on both of those games because they can't tell which ones are real and which ones are fake.
Okay.
This is a
basically-
manipulation of the user review system, which we do not allow. Advertising laws in many countries
Right.
require you to disclose any compensation for your review.
Right.
So,
If you received anything from a publisher or developer in exchange for a user review, please say so in your review. That's
Right.
what I'm saying. It seems like they are allowing it.
Well, but here's the thing. They probably had to buy the game first.
What?
no, you can
don't
leave
you have to own? Don't you have to own a game to not to
if
put,
I'm if
put a
if,
review on it?
if I give you a key, if I tell you I will give you a key for a positive review, I'm going to give you a key. You
Right,
know?
but those positive reviews got keys. They didn't send keys to people for
No.
positive reviews.
No, you sign up saying you'll give it a positive review, and they'll give you a key.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wait,
Either way,
that's kind of like the whole. That was kind of like the whole issue with Greenlight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll give you a key if you vote us on Greenlight.
exactly.
But this is a little bit worse because people seem to trust reviews more than, as far as Greenlight, it's like, oh, it's just another thing to add to the shit to wade through. But this is like legit, like oh, look, it's got really good reviews. Let's buy it. People are purchasing it because of reviews.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is a little bit more. So, but
And not only that, but even people who don't read the reviews, all of a sudden you have a game with, let's say, 10 reviews, and then you get 5 people coming in, and the 10 reviews before were mixed. So you have 5 people coming in who are like, it's the best, positive, positive, positive. It suddenly changes that mixed to slightly positive, which
Right, and us being us, yes, we're still going to play a game even if it isn't the best reviewed or
Right.
doesn't have the most positive thing. Like we try to be in line with stuff like that because we like good games too. But we do spend a lot of time playing games that, frankly, a lot of people don't like. Even amongst even amongst each other, it's like, no, I really fucking hated this game. But we still played it, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat my stances on a game just because I got a press copy of it.
and we've shown that
Several times.
several times.
But I think the biggest thing is if you like.
I mean, I think
dishonest.
There's a way to go about doing it and doing it properly.
I think
this was not done properly.
I think that in this, I'm just keeping it to this particular situation.
Okay.
It seems like Valve is okay with this happening as long as you make sure you mention it in your review.
Right.
That's what I'm getting from. That's what I'm getting from this
play
post.
The game to write a good review and then get the game.
Now, on
That's
the
a
developer
dishonest
side,
review.
it's all opinion and
That's true.
subjective.
That's opinion. Yeah.
But on the developer side of this, I will say that if anyone was considering doing this, even if people are being transparent about it, it doesn't look good on your game.
Yep.
If people go through and all the reviews are saying, I got a free thing for a positive review, I got a free thing for a positive review. Well, okay, all those reviews are now out the window. People aren't going to trust it anymore.
Isn't that kind of like buying?
You know what I mean?
Buying votes.
Like,
though?
what's the point?
Well, and we talked about this. Pedrosoft in chat, mentions his game was greenlit. But we've talked about other people that have gotten greenlit by buying the votes, and it's
Like your game could be
it's
legitimately good.
It's a Shark Tank, and I think this is part of the we're coming at it from an ethical point of view, where it's like, look, your game needs to be able to stand on its own 2 feet.
You're showing lack of confidence in your game if you're buying reviews. You know what I mean? It's why just if it's good, then it's going to be good, and people aren't going to.
And that exactly. Not only that, but if it's like if it's a game that's good that's trying to buy reviews, that's one thing. But if it's a game that's like really bad trying to buy reviews,
what I'm saying is
even if it is a good game,
that's true.
Even if it is the next Shovel Knight or the next Chroma Squad, I don't give a shit.
That's true. Well, I wasn't.
If you subvert the whole rating system and the whole reviewing system,
it defeats the purpose.
It does.
Completely, and then how does I don't know. Sorry, I'm tired.
I think that we're all in agreement that
it's bad.
It's wrong morally.
Yeah.
And from a consumer standpoint. Mm-hmm. But
and,
it's not illegal as long as you mention it in your review, which if you don't, that is illegal, by the way.
In most countries.
countries.
See, and for me, I make it clear. I reach out to a lot of developers, a lot of publishers, and go like, hey, I would love to grab some press keys of your game. I'm not going to tell you that we're going to be favorable for it. I'm not going to tell you that we're even going to feature it. But I like what I see, and I wouldn't mind featuring it if what I see in game is worthwhile. And I make that every email that I send out is very clear about that. Is like, look, I have my beliefs on what a good game is. I will definitely, if you want feedback from me on that, I will give you feedback. But, my opinion on somebody's game is not for sale for the game.
Personally,
or money or anything.
Personally, what I'd like to see, because even though it's legal as long as you put the thing in your review saying that, the disclaimer, even though that's legal, what I would like to see is Valve, since they are an independent company, they can do whatever they want. They can do whatever rules they want to impose. So they don't have to accept your disclaimer. What I would like to see is, if this is happening, is some sort of consequence, personally. That's just my personal opinion. I would like to see if people are, if they find out this is happening, maybe a consequence to the dev, or maybe a ban for a certain amount of time for people reviewing on games who do this. Even though it's not really their fault, to be honest. I mean, they're given a free game.
Not the. Well, yeah, it kind of is.
Kind of.
I mean, they're the ones that
do make the choice.
Change in their ethical.
And I do believe that is against the policy that Steam has.
Honestly,
didn't read the
in this
policy.
particular situation, I would be okay with saying, okay, not only have you done this, so we're removing all of the reviews of this game. I would remove the game itself.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. That's a little.
No, I don't know. Like, if all you're doing is giving them a slap on the wrist and saying, "Hey, everybody, you guys can repost your reviews."
Maybe the shame of being called out.
No,
shaming is just.
Oh, that's true. Because now we've heard about it.
Nobody cares.
What about a monetary? Like a fine?
A fine by kicking their game off of Steam? That's a great idea.
Oh, for a certain amount of time, maybe. Maybe
Sure.
locking it down for a certain amount of time.
Or force them to resubmit it. They have to
pay for another.
Yeah, pay for another resubmission. Bam, there you go.
Well, those are suggestions for you, Steam, because we know you're listening to this podcast.
And if you want like awesome suggestions, you might want to go over to the guys who have developed Ark Survival Evolved, because they're absolutely killing it.
I think we're on the wrong. That's not the right one yet.
No, that's the right one.
Oh, it is. I have it out of order. It's my fault.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I had such a good transition.
Shut up.
And you screwed it up.
Payback's a bitch.
Ark Survival Evolved, a game that we reviewed a few weeks, maybe 2 months ago.
Year, something like that.
It is a very good game, as long as you have a good computer to run it on. But they are selling, they've already sold 2 million units.
Jesus, they're doing
and they're putting out Halloween updates.
They've been the top seller on Steam for I don't know how fucking long.
They
might have been knocked off for like a couple of weeks because of Fallout 4 pre-sales, pre-purchase. I mean, but they've been in like the top 5 since they've released.
Okay.
It's insane.
I need to be honest here. I don't like. Are the amount of people who bought it and the amount of people who still play it equal at all? Because I will say that I've played a bunch of hours on it, but I burn out super.
Well, there is you can do a local game too. It doesn't have to be I
know amongst my sword fighting friends, I know of at least 15 people that play the game.
Okay.
And talk about it on a regular basis. Hey, we're jumping into Ark. Let's get a Skype group together.
Okay.
You know?
All right. So maybe that's just me. Anyway, something must be working because they're rolling in the cash and they're rolling out new updates.
The new updates is a Halloween update.
Yeah, with more biome-specific dinosaurs, more underwater creatures. Apparently, like what they're saying. So yeah, and Ark's been really good at updating. Like every single time I turn Steam on, Ark has an update.
Basically the update. I mean, they're still in early access, so they should be updating constantly.
They should, but it's consistent.
But basically, the update for Halloween is an actual expansion called Ark Fear Evolved, and it will basically. There's a little screenshot that you guys won't be able to see, but there's if you click the link that's I'll put it in the live chat for anyone interested. If you click the link that's in the description for those of you listening to the recorded version, you'll see the screenshot of like a skeleton
T-Rex. Oh my god!
I think it's a Velociraptor for that one.
That's a little bit okay.
It's like a zombie saber-toothed tiger and some sort of bird dinosaur.
Mutant.
There's some
bird
bats.
Thing.
Yeah. So you can tame one of those dinosaurs and ride them, and they can be your pet. And cool stuff. Good job, guys at Ark. Keep up the good work.
No, they just said you can only tame one of the creatures in the screenshot, and they haven't announced which one it is. It's a get your
I'm personally kind of hoping for that. I mean, they say they're hoping for the skeletal T-Rex, which by the way, I would want
the zombie. I would want the zombie saber.
I want the saber tooth personally.
Yep.
That's what. But anyway. Now.
Come now on an adventure. The stress after having been successfully kickstarted. I don't know if you recall, there was that little game. We talked about it, I think. I don't know if we featured it.
I don't think we talked about it. It's just, yeah.
Well, you
know what I mean. We didn't feature it, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's exactly what I said.
Shut up.
Elysian Shadows, the 2D RPG, was kickstarted for PC, mobile, Ouya, and the Dreamcast. And
who does Dreamcast anymore? It's weird.
Right? Who still has one of those?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, everybody that bought one because they're amazing consoles.
God.
Falco, one of the developers, apparently ran into a bit of a problem. One of the team members took his year's salary from the almost $200,000 that they raised on Kickstarter, and then just kind of disappeared. Like, didn't do any of the work.
How much did they raise? Does it say how much they raised?
$185,322.
No, how much they raised. Oh, that's how much they took from that.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that was their yearly salary because I was like, that's insane.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, they made almost $200,000 on Kickstarter.
And they took their salary out of that.
They took their salary out of that and then didn't do any of the work. And now this guy's got the ass end of the stick trying to take care of this. Now, there is some question as to whether or not it's just satire, or, you know, if it's a legitimate rant, because, you know, it's part of a series called The Misadventures in Game Development, which is a spin-off side series of The Adventures in Game Development, which is a comedy, satire, self-loathing, sarcasm, you know, self-deprecating mix.
Well, kudos on him for getting publicity.
Hey, you know, either way, even if this is fake, I think it's not bad publicity at all.
That's what I just said.
I think it's great. Exactly.
Yeah. No, it totally.
Which is exactly what I just said.
Army
great.
bastard.
Yeah, I find it hard to believe that, like, Pedro Sauce being sarcastic in the chat, but I find, like, I agree. I find it hard to believe that they would just be like, here's money, do your work. No, there's like a contract involved, I would imagine.
Oh, I'm sure there are ways that they can go about recouping that from the person. But I mean, there's also
the fact that he has to do all the other work.
exactly.
Yeah, there's that stress,
feel
and
like
then on top of that, you would have to go
bigger...
through legal avenues, which is also stressful. And,
which is also going to cost money, and okay, good. I'm signed up for that fake newsletter. I just got the email for it. So we know from the outside, because we're not game developers, but we're friends with enough game developers that we understand there's a lot of stress in developing games. And even more so, I think, when you're putting yourself into the crowdfunding situation, which kind of leads us into our topic of fulfilling said Kickstarters, because a lot of Kickstarters are failing. Some of that is unrealistic expectations on the part of the development team. Some of this is unrealistic expectations on the part of the people that are, going to back things. Some of it is just a really poorly put together campaign. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it, and I can definitely see it being stressed.
On top of the fact that what if your game actually gets funded?
Well, that's where that kind of leads in from what Elysian Shadows had, was that after the game is funded, I mean, the campaign in itself is stressful enough. After the game is funded, it becomes a whole other issue because you have a whole lot of obligations to fulfill. What are you smiling at?
Moving on. Keep going.
Because I took it over from you?
Keep going.
All right. Because you have a lot of obligations to fulfill. Hey, I'm just trying to keep it moving on.
Oh, I get it.
I don't get it.
Oh.
Now I'm lost.
Let's move on. Whatever. It's not important.
You guys are douche. No, I'm done.
No, I'm having fun. Okay, so.
Shield.
Thank you.
What, this? Oh, I see.
Oh my God, you guys are horrible.
Yeah, I get it.
So, okay, you not only do you have the game that is now crowdsourced or crowdfunded and moving forward that you have to put time and effort in, but you also have the rewards for it. And a lot of people are leaning towards a lot of physical rewards because, hey, everybody likes having the collector set. Everybody likes having the legendary Halo 2 in the tin box and the statue and all of that fun stuff. So that can help draw people in, but at the same time that causes additional stresses. And now that we've got, even more so, since we have the we have now the case law precedent of being held liable for those rewards, like that could be a lot of stress on that. So
what are some tips or some advice that we would give? Even though we did run an Indiegogo, but
we did meet our goal.
Here's the most important thing. Have the logistics of all of it figured out before you write it down. Like before you put it on the page, be like, okay, here are the avenues we're going to take if somebody orders in Canada or Mexico, or here's what we're going to do for sourcing this and getting enough of these by this date, and what date can we say we can get them by before we launch. It's like you say that you're going to get a game out to somebody.
Right.
And then you give them a relative, date. And you understand that date because
you're developing the game.
You don't know off the top of your head how long it's going to take for you to get a shirt printed in certain amounts, get it shipped to you, you handle all the shipping.
Well, I think in that case it might be better.
For that.
The solution to that would just be overestimate the amount of time it takes. I want to keep this to maybe tips for devs from our point of view.
Yeah.
For the Kickstarter, but I want to point out what Pedrosoft is saying in the chat, because it's actually kind of a decent idea to kind of solve the whole issue of people like taking the money and running, like we saw what you mentioned at court precedent.
Yeah.
Is what if they won, or what if they got however much money, like $50,000, and then every month only a certain percentage of that would be released to them. And maybe it'd be held in an escrow. And I know one problem that crops up with that, but it's still kind of a good idea to go down the avenue. Yeah. One problem that crops up.
Then what you do is you make sure to register as a company, they're an employee, and then you have a.
But one company that props up with that, or one problem that crops up God damn it,
Crops
tech crops up with that is that say $50,000 they release $5,000 every month.
Mm-hmm.
What if they actually need more than that?
Right.
Maybe then there would be like an approval process or something like that. But it's still a good idea to go with. So I just thought I'd mention that. Anyway,
Make
go
sure
back
to just
to
have everything written down, being like, okay, you're going to be paid the sum of this over the course of X months in amounts ranging from 0 to 0. Sign here.
Yeah. So go back to what Rob was going to say.
So my first and biggest suggestion is keep it digital or mostly digital. Yeah. And keep it within scope. Keep it to being something that you're going to be doing in the process of.
Well, that's
adding in a new character based on a backer that does $150. You're already making 150 characters. Yeah. So you have the script down. It's not going to
do what Dean did for Vidar and be like, hey, I want to add some backstory. If you pledge $60, you can send me an epitaph.
Honestly,
and his work is done.
Yeah, honestly, that's like some of the best rewards is being able to be a part of the game. So exactly. and it makes it easier. It's just kind of like a win-win situation if you do it that way.
Or this was the suggestion that we made to Avalon Lords was have a lifetime membership to their MMO.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like there's all sorts of things that you can
do.
Those
are things that you can exclusively keep to Kickstarter.
Exactly.
That'll also keep people, and those are like things like, hey, I get a lifetime subscription to this thing. I can only get it here. It's a lot of money, but I think I'm going to do that because I actually want, you're saving money in the long run.
Right. Exactly. And so, it's there's if your rewards are in scope of the actual game development, I think, and this is from my time doing a lot of project management and stuff like that as well. If it's already in the scope of what you're doing, it's so much easier. If somebody comes up to you and says, hey, I know you're a game developer, and as one of the rewards, I want a home-cooked 5-course gourmet meal, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how is this going to benefit me? And if you come up to me as a systems administrator, if you've contracted me for a $150,000 contract to do your virtualization infrastructure, and you say, hey, in addition to configuring, this base image for these servers, could you do one that's just slightly different? Yeah, that's 5 minutes of my time.
Yeah.
That's not a difficult thing. I'm probably not even going to charge you additionally for that because it's literally check a couple of different boxes and then copy that and go.
And then as soon as you add something to your Kickstarter, they're like Susan from HR is like, look, could you come up here? We have somebody who's really unruly, and I need you to reason with him.
Right? So
I think that's a really good idea. Is try and keep everything more digital and
within scope
and within your
project
project.
Itself.
Yeah. The one thing though that I think is stressful, no matter what, there's nothing that you can really do about it. Is the game itself. That's what you really have to deliver on, and
or the product.
Especially if don't give a freaking release date.
Unless
as much
you
as we
guaranteed, no. If you're doing the Kickstarter, so that
don't
you
put
can
that pressure on
say
yourself.
Fall or
no, not even
late.
fall. My suggestion would be if
done when it's done.
Probably.
If you are.
Well, the thing is, you do want to give some sort of time frame because people are going to be like, 4 years have gone by. I paid money into this. What the fuck? Yeah. So, yeah, Dufreak is asking in the chat, would people even back with no date? And that's my worry.
Where it's at. It depends on where it's at, and that leads.
Is there a demo? Yeah,
I don't know. There's some games where I've looked at. I'm like, I'm really excited, and they're like, yeah, it's going to ship to you in 2017. I'm like, never mind.
Yeah.
And to me, that wouldn't matter. But here's my second point is go into Kickstarter, go into the crowdfunding, and obviously this isn't going to apply to every dev out there. This isn't going to apply to every backer out there. But if you want me to back your game, you need to be basically done with it. Like, I'm okay taking, like, hey,
There needs to be plenty to show, and
It's not even plenty to show. It's I'm already here. Like if you're using it for the publishing and to do the final touches, and you really wanted to get voice actors for the game, but you couldn't do it. So right now it's you doing all of the voice acting, and you think it would be better, and you have that concrete goal, and that's really the only thing holding it back. Go for it then. I would totally back that if you came up to me and said, "Hey, let's this is all it is. I need $10,000 for voice acting and some musical changes." The game is basically done.
I think maybe it's not a good idea to have even a Kickstarter unless you're within a year of finishing. That's my opinion.
I would say 2. I would say 2 years.
2 is still pushing pretty long, and I know some people like Rev said he wouldn't mind if it was 2017. Some people are more patient. Me, I'm like, I just put like $50 into this. I could spend that on my electric bill.
That's true.
But here's the thing: you can't guarantee that that's going to happen. I do enough project work, I know, and I don't do the coding and have to worry about physics engines and story and art and all of that.
Is it better to release at a later date, or say you were going to release at an earlier date and still release it at a later date?
You know what?
As long as I think the number one thing is updates.
You do it the way that Bungie does. You want my undying love as a developer, you do exactly what Bungie does. The game will be out when it's
Bungie.
out.
Oh.
Hey, you know what? Knock 'em. They've got a lot of good going for them. But their philosophy is the game will be done when it is done. And when we announce that there is a date, it is because
that's what
done.
Duke Nukem forever.
Oh, shut up. That's the developers of The Witcher, not to bring AAA into this, but the developers, they are actually kind of indie. Actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, they're kind of indie.
The developers of The Witcher are doing the same. They have some sort of sci-fi steampunk game that they're coming out with that's supposed to be like way bigger than The Witcher, and that's saying something. And they're like, it's going to be done when it's done.
Yeah.
As long as you're keeping your fans, and especially the people that have supported you, if you're doing a Kickstarter, as long as you're not keeping them in the dark, people usually don't mind waiting. That's why I've seen.
I have no problem
keep
waiting.
them up to date.
Yeah, we'll use our good friend Jay for example. Dropsy is an amazing game. If I had backed that, I would have no problem, because his Kickstarter was in 2013 and it came out September of 2015. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, hey, yeah, I remembered I backed that. I was wondering if it was ever going to be released." Like, a lot of people just. It's one of those things that you do and kind of forget about, but Jay was keeping on top of things and was letting people know, hey, this is what we're working on. He was interacting with his intended audience. As long as you have that kind of interaction, it doesn't matter if your game is, hey, I'm already here. For most people. Me, I'm a curmudgeon, so, I would prefer a closer date for that. But if you come and you have a fantastic goal and you've already got exemplary work behind you, and, you say, hey, I'm looking for money for this, yeah, I have no problem waiting till 2025 to see the results of that.
Updates on Kickstarter, updates in email, keep in contact on Twitter, all that sort of stuff.
Do streams.
But, speaking of updates, our next developer in our Starting the Riot segment, they are experts.
They updated. They're done updating.
They're not, but they're experts at updating. So we're going to go ahead and move on to Starting the Riot.
And this week on Starting the Riot, we have a game that has finally come out of early access. And there were a few times where I was following this game and I was like, yeah, they're stuck in development hell. They're never going to come out of early access. And this was sort of the vibe that this game was giving.
I don't know.
But they kept the updates going and they finally released the definitive 1.0 version. That game is Prison Architect, which is a game that I feel like we've talked about before.
We have not. I'm telling you right now.
Which is why we're talking about it now. You are basically contracted to build a prison, and you're given like a certain amount of money and a certain amount of workers and some items to start building your prison. And you have a clock up top that says you're getting new prisoners in a certain amount of time. Go. So you have to build a safe prison, and buy more things and have an ingest and build different buildings with different requirements for the buildings, or rooms rather. So you have to build communal cells and shower room and a mess hall, and they all have to have specific items in them that you unlock and research in the research tree that you can go through, which it also has a research tree. And the prisoner AI is really great, because they'll be doing something, you know, whatever, and then the two of them will be fighting, and then the cops will break them up, and you need a med bay to put the guy in a med bay, but you can't put him in solitary confinement because you don't have a solitary confinement room yet. And it's just a lot of this, and it starts out small and it gets really big, and people like put so much effort into like planning their prisons.
Now previously in the news segment, we were talking about updates and everything like that, and I mentioned I mentioned Introversion Software, who are the developers of the game, or experts at updates. These guys, since I don't know if they did an alpha, I'm not sure, but through beta at least, every month at the end of the month, every single month they came out with an update for this game. And it was always like good updates too. There were
No, I need to ask for clarification. Do you mean an update to the game or an update about the game?
Update to the game.
Okay.
And about the game, because what they would do is they would develop these updates, release it, and as soon as they release it, they'd come out with like a 30 to 40 minute video covering all the changes that they made.
Yeah.
You know, they just like a YouTube video covering all the changes that they made. And by the way, they're actually kind of entertaining when they are talking about the thing. So good on those guys.
It's also really just a great game. Like, there's so much more depth to it than just, oh, you're building a prison. Like, you can click on every single prisoner, see what they're in for, see their weight and height and their demeanor and all this stuff. Like, it's so cool. And you can build whatever you want. Like, you can build a prison, like this is right up Rev's alley. You can literally build a prison that's just a giant dick. You can. If you can make it work, you can make it work.
There's a really cool workshop community, Steam workshop community around it, where they make these crazy prisons, like super efficient, super huge. There's also a modding community around it, because they released the code and everything like that. And you mentioned like fighting. That was one of the more recent. I mean, they fought in older versions, but one of the more recent updates was that there would be gang riots or gang fights, and they would like assassinate each other, which is crazy to me. And one thing I want to point out too is that when they released 1.0, they surprised everyone with some huge updates that they put out. No one was expecting. They made a campaign, which no one was expecting. I ever thought it was just going to be like a tutorial expansion, but it is part of a tutorial, but they made it a full blown campaign, like story and everything. They added an escape mode. If you remember, the Escapist is kind of like that, where you can do community prisons or a randomly generated one, and you have to try and escape from it. I haven't tried that yet, but that's cool, because that's not even the same game. That's a completely different game. You know what I'm saying?
This is basically the level editor for that game.
Right. So I mean, it's just amazing what you can do with this game. And then like you said, you mentioned the AI. There were some issues, but they bashed those issues while developing in beta with the AIs, because some of it was kind of wonky, and there were certain things.
Like your guards would walk in weird places.
But they did a really good job of making it polished and putting out all these extra. They have an obvious
game plays so well.
They have an obvious passion for this because of how much they put out and put into this. And like towards the end, the guy who like did most of the developing, he even admitted, like in the game, like he was getting depressed, and he was like, so much work and all this stuff. Even though they were so close to release, they had an idea that they wanted to release in October, but he was just like, man, it wears on you. But he actually he kept up with it, and the guy obviously has, huge, like, a passion for this, and he knew what he wanted to do. So I don't know, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
It looks so sexy fun.
It's awesome. It's seriously awesome.
This is and I'm pretty sure that they're going to continue updates. Maybe not monthly like they were, because have a freaking break, guys.
But there's so much expandability in this game.
But I would imagine that they're going to go like Minecraft-ish and start just pushing out different updates every time they have something big and everything like that. Not to mention the mod community it puts out their stuff. So it's a complete game and then some, and
Yeah.
they're going to continue to put on top of it.
And all of that for the low price of $30.
Hundreds of thousands of people have bought this game, but I still know, and the reason, because usually we try not to feature games that have a whole lot of publicity already because they don't really need it.
But this one,
I know plenty of people that don't know about this game.
Yeah.
Which is why, and plus it's just on top of the fact that I think they deserve it because it's an amazing game.
It's also, I will add, you said low price of $30. It's currently, and I disagree with doing this because, you know,
$19.99.
$19.99, 33% off on sale on Steam.
Yep.
You can also pay $33 currently or $50 after the sale to with the ability to name a prisoner and write his bio. Special promotion ends October 13th. So
Yeah, sometimes when you get new prisoners in, you'll hover over them and you'll see it's like a weird ass name. It's because that's what someone put in there, and that was part of the whole. That's like their backing process. They, even though it's through their own site that's done.
It was still crowdfunded through, and that was a reward for doing it.
Right.
Yeah. So again, going back to that point, it's in scope of what you're doing, makes it an easy reward. And now that backer is now immortalized in this game.
Some of them are pretty funny, by the way. Especially when you see some skinny dude named like some really violent. He's like part of the gang, and it's
he's like Cuddle Cuddle McFluffy or something.
Yeah, tiny.
God, I love the idea of this game. I don't know as I'm going to have the patience for it personally.
I've sunk so many hours into this, not even realizing. I'm like, play like an hour, and I'm like, it's 5 a.m. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that would be one of my biggest fears for this game, which is a good thing.
And there's a really strong community and wiki, by the way, too, because there's like a lot of strategies. If you go into it without, especially if you don't do the tutorial, you're going to be lost. And people are going to be rioting, people are going to be escaping, people are going to be dying, and you're going to be doing terribly. So learn a little bit. learn a little bit before you get into the whole sandbox thing. Play through the campaign because it does teach you a lot of the basics. So.
It's available for Windows, Mac, and Linux, and on sale. Go pick it up. It's $20 right now.
Good job.
That sale does, however, end on the 13th of October, so you've only got like 5 days.
Good job, intro version.
Intro version.
I can't say it enough. This is, by the way, one of my picks for Riot of the Year this coming.
Really?
For this.
Oh.
This is it's up there. It's one of them. I'm not going to guarantee it.
I can see that. Though.
But it's one of them.
That possibility is very much there.
Yeah, there's another one I think I saw coming out this month that might also be, but I think this is one of them up there for me. But anyway,
wow.
You know what we should do in the meantime before we get to the point of voting our starting.
We should go check out some strippers.
Peep show.
Or we could do that too, but yeah, peep show.
Please give all your attention to Early Access.
This week on Peep Show, I have a peeping Tom right up there. And but that's not why we're calling this Peep Show. The Peep Show is actually looking into a game that is not fully released for whatever reason, and this one happens to be in Kickstarter. It is, and some of you may have heard of this because it's gotten quite a bit of publicity, Allison Road, which, if you guys remember PT, do you guys remember that?
Yep.
It was like it was a playable teaser, is what PT stood for Silent Hills, the thing that Guillermo, whatever his name is, Del Toro. With Hideo Kojima were going to do, and then that fell through. A lot of people are calling this the spiritual successor. I don't know if it actually is, because this guy actually contacted me well before PT was a popular thing.
Uh-huh.
So, and this was like way before you had anything. Now they have this. It's a prototype gameplay, and I don't know if what you're seeing here is actually part of the game. I don't think it is. It's just a kind of like what PT was.
a technical.
But it's still within that kind of world and the thing like that. And yes, Dufreak in the chat, it does look fucking good. It's beautiful. These guys know what they're doing, and this is why part of the reason that I'm okay with how much they're asking for on their Kickstarter.
This looks great.
They're asking for $388,281, which is obviously a
lot of money.
It's a lot of money, but it's being converted from pounds, I think.
Yeah, it's British pounds.
It looks like an E to me, so I think euros, but I think it's pounds. So pounds, they currently are at 211,681 with 11 days to go. So they got time for the speed that they're going at.
Yeah.
This game is like shit in your pants scary. I've seen the gameplay of this, like the full gameplay of what you're watching. It's even in just this prototype, they know how to pace things, and they know how to work ambience. Like the audio in this, it obviously looks beautiful, but the audio in this, look at the shadows on this thing. That's just off-putting in the first place. And you know what I mean? It's the whole thing. Oh my god! Like I can't even get over the fact that just how good this looks. So they also, by the way, speaking of how good this looks, they're making it Oculus Rift compatible.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So you can put yourself in the game, because who doesn't want to do that?
Like
I would never do that. I would never.
I don't know if I could handle that. I'm going to be honest.
You said that and the chills ran down my spine.
A screen is strapped to your face. The only way you can get it off is by closing your eyes and hoping. That's like the definition.
I've seen people like play even just like the shitty like not old, but quick games that are on there that are in like the low def or whatever, and they even then they're like throwing the mask off their face. You know what I mean? I hope they build those things like solidly, because that's what's going to happen a lot.
Yeah.
As Prep says in chat, you want to shit your pants, not figuratively.
Exactly.
Like I'm rewatching the trailer on the Kickstarter up at the top, and I'm getting goosebumps and chills and not doing well, and I don't have audio or anything. Like I'm just watching that, and let alone an Oculus. Like I've got chills running up and down my spine.
Look how interactive this environment is too, by the way. And there's puzzles that you have to solve. Well, there's like it's not like puzzles, but it's like, okay, I got to find this thing to get into this door, that sort of thing.
Isn't that like the definition of the adventure game that people wanted back in the like late 90s? Like make it 3D and make it awesome, like Myst on steroids.
Kinda, I guess.
Except
but,
terrifying.
This is what Silent Hills was going to be, and they're doing it indie style, and you can't even tell it's indie.
One
looks
thing that I
AAA.
will say is that watching the footage that's playing right now, it looks better than PT.
And if you haven't yet, click on the link. Those of you in the live stream, I put it in the chat, and those of you on the recorded version, click the link below and look at some of the fucking stills that they have of.
The art in this game is amazing.
Have you seen the girl, the bondage girl?
Oh my god, I don't even. Ugh.
Have you seen the bondage girl?
I showed her in one of the videos.
No! Look at the close up.
Oh wow! Ooh.
Yeah. I know I know you, and you're probably slightly turned on, yet at the same time horrified.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Like that is very cool binding. But wow, that's detailed and horrific.
Yeah.
I'm gonna practice that.
Again, talking about passion.
Yeah. They're really going above and beyond to making this game fucked up.
But yeah, you can back it for anywhere from $8, which is special thanks on their website, all the way to $7,766, which gets you you get to be part of the game launch. You can go to the UK to an isolated location and be one of the first people on the planet to play the full final version of the game.
I do want to give them some credit on this. I like their budgetary breakdown.
There's
for
so much
what they're doing.
information in this damn Kickstarter.
This is how you do a Kickstarter, son.
This is a good Kickstarter campaign. 60% for development of code, design, and art. 10% for taxes. 8% for the rewards fulfillment. 5% for legal and office
Website
upkeep,
costs.
etc. 5% for the Kickstarter fees. 4% for payment processing. 5% for audio music, which I assume means they've already got most of the audio music done. And
I think
then
they mentioned something about that.
and then they've got, and this is the one, this right here is what sells me on this, like enough that even though I'm never going to play this game, I'm seriously considering kicking it myself, is they're setting aside a dedicated amount, 3%, for Q&A and polish.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
As they should. I mean,
Right.
these guys are taking this seriously. They know what the fuck they're doing. And we talked about dates. They have it. They're saying that their plan is to have it ready to ship on PC by the end of 2016.
That's kind of ambitious.
Well, I mean, I think they've been working on this for a while. Like I said,
Yeah.
they emailed me way back,
Yeah.
like when we first started, and like I said, they didn't have really anything then, and now they already have a playable teaser demo thing. And they're also putting on PC Mac and Linux, and they're also planning to do console possibly for stretch goals, I think it is. And let's see what else they have planned. PS4, Xbox One. There we go, stretch goals.
Yeah. Things are a little bit hard to find.
Well, it's because it's got a wealth of information.
Stretch goals 200. So they're asking for how much? How many euros? Is it?
That's pounds.
Or pounds? I mean, whatever. How many? It was 250 pounds, 250,000 pounds. So the initial is to ship it on PC, and then their stretch goal, if they get to 300,000, is to put it on Mac and Linux, and then 375,000, they will get it professionally translated in French, German, Spanish, Italian subtitles, plus 2 extra languages voted by the backers on their Kickstarter.
I am so going to. We should do this and make one of the languages Swahili.
Klingon.
And
Bushman.
Yes, Klingon. No, I like this. Klingon.
That would be that would make it absolutely terrifying. You're like, oh, Klingon, you turn it on and like all the things are happening and it's like and you're just like, that's even scarier. The radio is spewing nonsense. What is this world?
I am so excited for this game. I can't wait till 2016. That's going to be a good year for. These guys are going to make it big. I'm so happy. I hope they get to the 388 281. Go back them now if you haven't. Anything at all, please help them.
It's
get
awesome.
to this because they deserve it. It looks fantastic.
Who's the maker of this?
Lilith. And by the way, I don't know, but maybe it's just because I've been watching too much Supernatural, but I feel like that's a Supernatural reference.
I don't know. I was going to say it was a Borderlands reference. Like,
well, just saying that this is a scary game, Supernatural made more sense to me.
yeah, but I mean,
Prep
Lilith
is saying biblical.
Yeah.
I could see that.
I don't know. The Lilith thing.
Yeah,
is Lilith
that's where it came from.
Is that in the Bible?
Yeah.
Lilith came before Eve. What?
Yeah.
I'm good.
Lilith was
Apparently, I am off on my theology.
Lilith was like the original. It was weird. I don't get into it.
From True Blood.
Mostly because I don't know.
Apparently, there's a lot of famous Liliths that could be. We should. I tried to get him for an interview. He hasn't responded because it's been a while since I've been in contact with him, and he's gotten a lot of publicity. So maybe I'll try again, and we can ask him that question: where the hell Lilith came from? And then if I'm right, you guys owe me money or a BJ. And let's see.
Wait a second.
What?
Yeah, okay. I'm okay with that caveat. He said money or a BJ, so, right?
You have to have money in your mouth when you do.
No, you didn't say money and.
All right. Well, what you actually do have to give money for, but it's somewhat cheaper than most games.
Your cell phone plans. We've got 80 days.
That's not cheaper at all.
We've got 80 days. 80 days. We're going mobile.
Huh?
now on an adventure that will last 80 days. And that's the title of our going mobile game, 80 Days. It is the story of Around the World in 80 Days, and it is by far a lot of fun. It's made by made or published, I apologize, but Inkle. We talked about them. Oh, it's both?
It's published by Inkle, but it's developed by Inkle and Cape Guy.
Okay. Now, these are the same guys that put out Sorcery, which is a lot of fun. And I've probably sunk a lot more hours into that game, that set of games, than I should have. And this game is shaping up to be just as fun. I bought it this morning as I was on my way into work. And you're basically trying to circumnavigate the globe, much like the is it Jules Verne? No, who wrote it? Fuck.
Yeah, I know what you're talking. Just to clarify, Dufreak in the chat said that Cape Guy.
Jules Verne, I was right.
Yeah, Cape Guy did the PC port, so not the iOS mobile version that we're talking about now, which is because I got the information from the Steam page, not the actual page. So that's that. But Inkle is the main developer of 80 Days. So good.
Okay, so yeah, it's a $5 mobile game, and if you played Sorcery, it's kind of similar in mechanic, but it's more of a narrative base than Sorcery was. Sorcery, at least for me so far, I haven't encountered like any combat or anything like that, but this seems to be kind of a sim game where you are just kind of managing your resources. You have a limited inventory space.
I would say it's more. I mean, sim is part of it, but I other than the narrative, I think it's more of a logic and management kind of game.
Yeah, that's a good way of describing it. This is by far, again, it's one of those really fun, just things that you want to sink your teeth into, and it's kind of open worlded in the fact that you can take any route that you desire off of the various branching paths based on your choices in conversation or the things that you've packed. You know, I almost got thrown off a train. I've missed a train, and like it's. So far, every time I've gone back into the game, it is my experience has been different because I've been choosing slightly different choices. And you know, my current playthrough that I've got going right now, the person that I'm going with is Phileas Fogg, is your boss, and you're his assistant that's going with him on this. He hates my guts right now. Like, I am scum of the world, incompetent, and
so you're way behind schedule. Then I take it.
I'm way behind schedule. Like all I packed in my initial bag was a shirt, and like I'm arguing with everybody, like the security guard that or the gatekeeper guard on the train that's asking for tickets. Like I'm arguing with him, and he's like, well, I'll let you do it for $80. And my boss, Mr. Fogg, is like, not only will you pay it, but you'll pay him extra for being an impatient bastard. And it was like, fuck no, I'm not. So like, if there was an option to just like flip him off, I would go with that one because I'm trying to be a dick this run. But I just paid him the bare minimum, and now Fogg is just like, you're an impertinent wretch. What the hell is wrong with you?
They're talking about the live action or the real time. I mean, the real time aspect to this, and it's really cool. They're talking about. I mean, it's pretty unique to these narrative kind of games. And it is really cool, but it makes the game so freaking stressful to me. Because I'm like, I don't want to... Because I'm playing to, like, get there in 80 days. I'm all for it, right? So I'm just like, shit. Wait, but I need these things. But I can't waste time getting these things. Like, what am I going to do? Yeah. It's
the
stressful.
side trips, and this is a very interactive, very in-depth game. And I'm going to highly recommend it. It's mechanically simple. It's pretty straightforward, so not a whole lot
Click the things.
Click the things. Click on your option of choice for dialogue. You know, watch the train move and be a dick. So yeah. Give it a whirl. It's $5 on the App Store and Google Play.
$10 on Steam.
I've been playing it on the Android phone. So
$10 on Steam.
And it's available on Mac and Windows as well.
There you go.
It's gotten a lot of awards.
Oh, yeah. You want to mention some of those awards? Throw them out.
Time Game of the Year, IGF, Independent Games Festival, Excellence in Narrative this year. It was nominated for the Games BAFTAs. It won Excellence of Story in Storytelling at, I can't make out that one. It was a Game Developers Choice Awards nominee. It was voted Best of 2014 in the App Store. Mashable gave it Best Mobile Game of 2014. The New Yorker voted it Best Video in the Video Games of 2014.
Damn.
So yeah, this is
a
good game. Inkle,
I mean,
guys,
this is like to follow up Sorcery.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Jesus.
Sorcery is still a 3-part game too.
True.
So you guys are definitely doing well, and I definitely appreciate what you guys are doing.
Absolutely.
Keep the hard work.
You know what I don't appreciate?
The end of the show.
The end of the show. I don't appreciate the end of the show, but it is necessary because otherwise we'd be here all night and all day and all night and all day and all day. But let me remind you all that if you enjoy what we do, you want to help us out, we do have a Patreon. Please consider being our Patreon on patreon.com/Indie Game Riot.
Speaking of, I'm interrupting right here. This is actually important. If you are a Patreon user, you have a registered account, whatever, or you're backing or you're patroning other people, go change your fucking password. They got a massive hack.
They didn't get passwords, according to them.
That's not what the insider I was talking with said.
I don't know about an insider, but they sent an email saying that no passwords were stolen.
Well, just to be safe, change your password.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't hurt. But anyway, so yeah, that did happen. But still.
Yeah, back us on Patreon.
Yeah. Help us out and help us get to our goals and help us help the indie game community and make a better show for all of you, as well as a website and all that sort of stuff. Next goal is to guarantee a giveaway every single week.
Yeah.
And that also supports the devs because we will pay for those giveaway games to give to you. Mm-hmm. So thank you so much for your consideration. The other thing is, if you can think of an indie game, if you know someone who would like to do an interview, if you know any news involving indie games, anything that has to do with indie games at all, please contact us. First of all, you can come to our live show every Friday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and chat with us in the chat. You can also follow us on Twitter at IGR Podcast or on Facebook.com/IGR Podcast. Or you can just email us, contact@IndieGameRiot.com. Which
you mentioned the Reddit.
Leads to IndieGameRiot.com being like the home hub for everything, where you can find all that sort of stuff, including the Reddit. You can actually find on the website, but it hasn't been updated. Well, actually, apparently it was updated today because Tech was like, let me put some news here.
That was the admin Reddit.
Yeah, well, whatever. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay,
yeah.
Well, if you want to take over, the reason we don't do it is because it's stupid if we're doing it, we realized. So if you want to take over as a fan,
you want it?
Please do. That would be awesome. But anyway, any last words for you guys?
Luckily, no more film fests, so I'll be here next week.
Come now and have fun.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Say goodbye.
Good one, guys.
See you next time, guys.
Toodles.